Hi everyone, I am Jen. For those that don't know me, I founded and started this little red barn and Always and Forever, and we started to kick off a series called How to Start Your Own Rescue. I shared yesterday we've been open about 5.5 years now, for those that don't know or aren't familiar with our story, and in that 5.5 years we have saved directly over 4,000 animals that have come into our care. We have also helped save probably 1,000 to 2,000 animals that we've arranged for transportation or transfers to other rescues from kill shelters, or found homes for animals that senior citizens who no longer could care for them and needed loving homes. So it's really truly not about the numbers, it's just about finding the best fit in family. So that's a little bit of the background, and over the years people have asked me and always said, Jen, you're living my dream, how do I do it? And not everybody is in Kansas, not everybody has a little 5-acre, now 45-acre farm. So I kind of wanted to walk you through the steps as to how you can do it. And huge legal disclaimer, I am a lawyer, but this in no way is legal advice. So just the steps that I did, and just thought I would walk you through. If you're truly committed and your entire heart and soul are screaming, I want to help save animals, I'm here to tell you right now, it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter if you own property, it doesn't matter if you don't even know how to get started or you don't have a single dollar. All it starts with a dream. Everything starts with hope and a dream. So we talked a little bit about that yesterday, is to declare it. Put your dreams out there. Who cares if people laugh at you? People are going to laugh at you when your dreams come true. They're going to laugh at you when your dreams don't come true. So you might as well go for the ride and be brave and courageous and enjoy the journey along the way, because we all have just one life and you want to make the most of it. So if this is your dream and this is your passion, the animals need you. So we're going to walk you through the steps as to how you can potentially start your own rescue. And I will start with the disclaimer again that these two videos are kind of boring, because it's the legal stuff behind it and the technical things that you have to do. Because number one, anybody can rescue an animal off the street, right? But if you want to legally rehome an animal and adopt it out, most states require you to have a rescue license. In Kansas, you're regulated by the Kansas Pet Act. So if you're going to adopt an animal out or foster, you have to be registered with the state, and every state is different. That's not this episode, but that's the reason why you have to be a licensed rescue. We will get there. Now, you could be a licensed rescue and not be a 501c3 and not be incorporated. I will tell you that is not the route I would ever recommend doing. Why? Because everything that you donate and you invest, you want to be able to at least get a tax deduction. And what that does is it gives you, if you're a 501c3, it gives you credibility. So owners know that, or donors, not owners, that if they donate their money, you legally have to use all of those funds for the dedicated purpose that you declare with your nonprofit. Now, let me share the very sad truth. Not every nonprofit is good. I used to be the person that just assumed that too. So just because a rescue says they're a rescue, or a nonprofit says they do something, know the people behind it, know the mission, know who's running it and what their values are, and make sure that you connect with that, because everybody's different. And sadly, we have unfortunately taken over hoarding situations from other rescues where there were 100 animals in a 700 square foot room, where this nonprofit was just taking money, and it used to be a really good rescue that people had believed in, and then the executive leadership changed. And as we've all kind of watched, when executive leadership changes, that changes the direction of a lot of nonprofits. So incredibly important to know who you're who are the people that are leading the nonprofit that you're donating to. And if you're trying to start your own rescue, that's going to be you. So my recommendation would be, we got to incorporate, we got to get legally registered with the state, whatever state you're in, and then we want to apply for an IRS 501c3 exemption, which gives the federal tax deduction. So first step, what do you do? Sounds overwhelming. Should I just hire a lawyer? Okay, that's an easy route. You absolutely can do that. But then it's going to get expensive. And I would say filing articles of incorporation are pretty simple. I put in the link, the one to Kansas. So if you're in Kansas, you can click on that. But honestly, guys, Google is your best friend in the age of AI and everything that is going on with this world and technology. walking you through how to legally incorporate, how to get your 501c3. It's not that hard. So while I would say if you want comfort and peace of mind with a lawyer, that's never wrong, but get a lawyer that you could trust that's not going to overcharge you. I used to do this pro bono when I worked at a big law firm, and it took months, not because it was hard, but because all my other work with billing clients always kind of sadly took priority with respect to how I got paid and partners that I was working for at the time. So while it's wonderful if somebody's going to jump on and do this pro bono, sometimes that's usually for an establishment that has been doing something but not legally recognized. So I want to make sure, let's just get you incorporated right away. And when I say that, you might be like, hey Jen, that's totally crazy. Why would I do that when I don't have land? I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't even know how to begin. Well, I'm sharing all this because that's how I did it. Number one, I had a dream, and I knew it was going to come true. Why? Why did I know it was come true? Because I knew I was never going to stop until I made it come true in any form. Did I think that this would ever be as beautiful and incredible as it is today? No, but that's part of the journey, is when you grow and you build confidence and you fail and you learn and you grow and you keep going. And as I shared last time, as long as you never give up, it's never a failure as long as you keep trying. So incredibly important, incorporate. It's really simple. Articles of incorporation. Just Google it for your state, and it asks you really basic questions. They're straightforward. Are you selling stock? I would say no, you're not going to sell stock. This is going to be a nonprofit corporation within whatever state you are in. We are incorporated in the state of Kansas as a nonprofit C corporation. How many board of directors do you have? Let's say you don't have any yet. So pick 2 or 3 people that you trust in the world and say, hey, I'm starting this nonprofit. Will you sign on to be my board of directors? And at the very beginning, when there's kind of nothing going on and you're just starting it, you say, yeah, how much work's involved? Is there liability? Yes, there could be, especially if you're an animal rescue, but we'll get into that later with liability insurance and board of directors insurance and so forth. All really fun topics, I know. But when you're just starting off, just pick 2 people that you trust. I met a little boy, I think in 2018 when I first started this, and his mom actually legally incorporated him in his nonprofit in the state of Missouri. And he didn't have a farm or anything, but what he was doing was he was fostering dogs. It was like Brandon's Rescue, something super cute, where this little boy just, they would rescue an animal from a kill shelter, and they would foster, and they would try to get it adopted out. So it doesn't matter if you have a farm, it doesn't matter if you have anything but a dream in your heart. Get yourself incorporated. And like I said, you have to have your name, and you have to do the name search to make sure nobody else has that name and that it's not legally protected, and then fill out your articles of incorporations. If you don't know how, Google it. Google it with your state. How do you register? Pretty simple. And if you get stuck, you can call your state. Usually there's a phone number on the website. If you type those 2 things together, I found incredibly kind people work there. And if you greet them with kindness, you're going to get kindness back. And that's just really how the world works with energy too. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to sound silly when it comes to, hey, what do I do on, this step here? And so let me see, what do we got else here? Board of directors address. Okay. So when I filled out these articles of incorporation, when it got us incorporated, I literally lived in an apartment. So our very first filing was in Overland Park, Kansas. And it's funny, it's like 805 Carter or something in corporate housing that I got set up in. So our dream started in an apartment where there was nothing, where the farm wasn't even on my radar yet, and I had a realtor helping me look for land. And it's so funny when you call realtors and you're like, here's my dream, can you help me find it? And you either get people that kind of think you're a little got a screw loose, or you get people that are just all in to help you. And I had the most wonderful realtor, Shannon, who was connected with another amazing friend, Lisa. And like I said, my story has so many incredibly beautiful connections with loved ones in heaven that kind of all led us together in ways that we had never ever would have been connected before, if that. So I got sidetracked, as I normally do, but articles of incorporation, very, very simple, very straightforward. Just read it, and if you have questions, call your state, walk through it. I think it's actually pretty cheap too. I think that my guess is like $20. So if you have 20 to 30 bucks, every state is different. When I wrote this, I wrote a guide to this to try to help as many people as I could. But I filed in 2017, so we were legally incorporated in 2017. Once again, why did I do this step when I didn't have the farm, when I didn't have, the funds, when I didn't have anything? Because I knew if I was personally going to invest in this dream, which I was, because I wasn't going to ask anyone to invest if I wasn't willing to invest, I needed to, at least for it to be able to be a true corporation, and then have our 501c3 so that it could be tax deductible. Because I'll share in a little bit, if you're not willing to go all in, don't ask anyone else to buy into it, because you have to be 100% in, and you have to sell your heart and soul into it. So we'll get into that, but fill out your articles of incorporation, and I think you get it back same day or next day. It's not long. Every state might be different. My only experience is in Kansas. I don't even remember the ones that I filled out in Pennsylvania and Chicago when I did it pro bono before, but look it up. It's not too hard. And if you get overwhelmed, you can hire a lawyer, but don't get robbed. Do not pay someone $5,000 to incorporate your business and fill out a 501c3. It's not worth it. Anyone can do it if you take the time and read. Because take a step back and think about it. What do lawyers do? They read. They read and they ask questions, and then they apply it. So ask questions. Google is an amazing resource, and most people that work for the state are pretty incredible with that too. So articles of incorporation, let's see. Next step, what do? You draft your bylaws. Bylaws are they're a governing document of your corporation, your business, your mission, your rescue. Sounds scary, right? It's actually not. One thing we always say in the legal field is you don't want to recreate the wheel. So let's say you have a rescue that you want to be just like. Google them, and most of them have their bylaws available online. Not all of them do. Every state is a different requirement, but this isn't something that you file. Well, it's not something that you file with the state of Kansas, so I don't know if you file it with other states. So let me take that back. But I guarantee you can do a Google search, and you can look up other rescues bylaws. And then what you do is, take it, read through it, see, is this how I want my board to be run? How do I want decisions to be made, with so forth? So it really is straightforward. And I will tell you right now, I did that exact same thing. And then I went through and I said, okay, here's how I want it to run. And then we kind of went through it with the board. And what's amazing then is, as your board evolves and as your organizations grow, and now we're at the point where we have 6 board members with over a century of experience in professional legal, accounting, and so forth, you change it. And so your bylaws get amended to make sense for the legacy that you are creating with your mission. So once again, don't be overwhelmed. Take a deep breath and take the time to just do a little bit of research on other rescues, big or small. I tell you, the big ones probably have their bylaws on there more, but the small ones might be more applicable to what you're doing. And going back to what we talked about yesterday, be unique, be you, be your dream, that while you might think nobody else on this earth is like you, the truth is nobody else on this earth is like you and has what you have to offer. So don't be afraid to share what you have inside your heart with others, because I promise there are people out there that are just like you that might be too scared to start, or might not know where to start or how to start. So taking that leap of faith and having the courage to go forward, even if others laugh at you, I promise it will be worth it in the end. So step, how do we do it? Once again, pick your name, articles of incorporation, believe in yourself. I'm going to say that every single day. Every single day, believe in yourself. If you don't believe in you, why in the world would anyone else believe in you? And it takes time, and it takes time to get the courage to say, I'm willing to try and I'm willing to fail. But be honest, be transparent in everything you do and how you do it. When I started this little red barn, I didn't know a single soul in Kansas, and I kind of came here and I said that, I shared that. I had in my heart that I wanted to save senior dogs. And what I knew was that I had 2 senior dogs of my own. And I thought, if I'm the only person that takes care of them in the morning and takes care of them at night, I'm going to set up a little red barn. The house is red, and my mom suggested painting the barn red, so I can't take credit for that. My mom actually had that pretty beautiful idea. And we used to sing a song. I'm going off on tangents on this. We used to sing a song, my sisters and my mom and I, about, I can't know it. In a little red in a little farm on a barn down in Indiana. There was a little red barn in the song. Bottom line was, that's how the little red barn came from, a song that I used to sing with my sisters and my mom growing up, and then she thought of it. But I knew that I wanted the rescue to be number one on my property, because I wanted to always be there, because it was going to be me primarily taking care of them. And number two, I wanted it to be a place that people could come and go anytime they wanted, and they wanted to be a part of something different, where you didn't go to a kill shelter or a shelter and you left feeling that sick, awful feeling that you were doing more, that all the animals were in cages all day long and that they weren't loved. The only experience I had with a rescue, not even a rescue, I think it was a shelter, I don't know, it was Thursdays at 4 o'clock in Chicago, and I actually think it was a no-kill shelter, but they were just in cages, and they said you can come and walk them from 4 to 5. Number one, it was incredibly hard to get out of work, and so the one day I did it, and then I left there feeling awful, because I put that animal back in a cage, and I knew if I didn't come back, that animal wasn't going to be walked. And so what did I do? I think I was 23, something like that, 24. I left, and I didn't go back, because it was easier for me to sleep at night, to not think about it, than it was to commit to do something, even just once a month that I could, because of the timing of work. So that kind of spawned, I wanted this to be a place where it filled people's hearts with joy and with love. And so that was like giving the senior dogs that nobody else wanted a home. So it was created with as much of a home-like environment as possible. And that's kind of how the Little Red Barn was formed. And then volunteers could come as they wanted, and they would have orientation, but they would be there. But I got sidetracked, so let's get back to the purpose of this. Articles of incorporation, bylaws, you don't file in Kansas. I don't know about your other state, but you need them. So very important. Once again, Google is your friend. Let's see. If you do change addresses, so just like I said, let's say you don't have your farm yet and you don't know where you're going to be, that's okay. There's a form that you fill out later with the state. Every state's going to be different. And then it's a change of address form. I think there's always like a fee, maybe 10, 20 bucks, something like that. It's not crazy, but make sure you do that. Let's see, what else? Bylaws, number of directors. Always want to have 3. Okay, I think Kansas only requires 1, and you can be the incorporator, so you can get incorporated that way. But to apply for your tax exemption, you have to have at least 3 directors. So pick your closest people that you trust. Who do you want to do this with? Now, I share that is incredibly important, because I have known phenomenal people who have built and created amazing rescues, and their board of directors have ousted them. And so let's say, we'll just use this farm and this property. Technically, our board of directors, because it's a legal corporation, a legal nonprofit, 6 board of directors, they could vote me out. But that is a risk I'm willing to take, and that's the right thing to do, because you have to trust and know that the people are in this for the best intentions, and they're in line with your mission. So choose your board wisely. It's incredibly important for the future of your rescue. I say this all the time. Who do you want your name attached next to? Who do you find the same values with? Do you have the same mission and beliefs with? And it doesn't have to be in all areas of life, but it really has to be when it comes to the purpose of what you're doing and your mission and the rescue. So take the time, think about that, talk to people. I don't know if there's any requirements about if you can be related or not. I feel like I don't know that the state cares, but that random question just popped in my head. I chose 2 of my most phenomenal closest friends, Sue and Joe, at the beginning, and now we have 6 board of directors. Joe has now become our full-time IT person. Couldn't be more happy that she joined us. And then we got Craig, Judy, Jane, our treasurer, Scott, and Ryan, and Sue still on it. So what we have done is we have transitioned to a legacy. And that's it. You got to think about, is this a rescue or a nonprofit that you want to do for your lifetime? Or is this a rescue and nonprofit that you want to continue on beyond your lifetime? And I'll share, I run another nonprofit called Sam's Devotions, where my best friend and I, we created it, and it does random acts of kindness for sick kids. And this is a nonprofit that will pass when either one of us pass, because it was kind of Sam's legacy, not necessarily ours. So and that's okay. You know, the growth, but the thought, everything is just doing something kind for someone else that can't do it for themselves, and easing a little bit of pain with joy. So know your mission, know what you want to do, and then really evolve with it. But don't be afraid to start right now, because it can evolve as you go. Your bylaws can be amended and restated, and your articles of incorporation can change the address. So get started on that. Once you're incorporated, I think it takes like a day or two to get that. I'm not really sure. It's been a while, but you're going to need an EIN. Write that down. It's literally just 3 letters, EIN. My guess it's an employer ID number, and this is free too. Don't pay a couple $100. There are some sites that say that they will pay for that for you. It's actually free, or it used to be. Okay, put that with the caveat of disclaimer. I haven't done this in 6 years, so it was free. My guess is it's still free, or it's a very nominal amount, but you don't have to pay crazy amounts for that. And it's just filling things out. You'll put in your corporation. And so, funny thing too, so in the state of Kansas, if you're a corporation, our legal title is always and forever, comma, INC, period. Know your state, know what the requirements are when you're filling out these forms. It's very important. Literally read every word. If you're not going to pay a lawyer, take the time and read it. It's not rocket science. I promise you can do it. I don't practice this type of law. I never did, but I was able to kind of walk through these things. And what's funny, they don't really teach you how to do this. When you're a lawyer and you're a younger associate doing pro bono work, you just sit and read. That's what you do. If I can sit and read, you can sit and read. Law school taught me nothing. So don't tell them that. What they did, it teaches you to read. So, and make yourself an educator. So you can do it. And if you get overwhelmed, take a deep breath, come back to it. But it's not rocket science, I promise you. You're gonna get your EIN number. Simple. Once you get your EIN number, next is the big 501c3. That's what you want to do. The easiest way to do it. What's cool is when I did it 6 years ago, I haven't looked at it recently. My guess is it's pretty much still the same. There's a 1023 easy form. Now, before they had this, it was a long, drawn-out process, and it took like 6 to 9 months. You were filling out this form. That's what I used to do when it was pro bono. The sun is setting, so the light is coming on. Yes, Shannon Tobin's surgery is tomorrow, so he's getting those tumors lasered off. So all of our prayers are with him too. But going back to 1023 easy form. Once again, if you're incorporated, you've got your EIN number now, you got your articles of incorporation and bylaws, then you can fill out your form to get, anytime somebody asks me a question, I lose my train of thought. You can get your 501c3 and get your tax donation letter. There was one thing that I did forget, and you want to have, there's magic wording that you need to have in, I think it's the Articles of Incorporation. Let me check. I'm just going through this really quick. Yep, it sure is. In your Articles of Incorporation, you need to have this magic 501c3 dissolution language. So what that means is you're going to have a sentence in there that says, should my nonprofit fail or dissolve, dissolution language, dissolve, any of the funds, all of the assets will go to a similar 501c3 nonprofit. That way, donors' money never goes into someone's pocket. So let's say if Always and Forever was going to dissolve, it's not. If it was going to dissolve, then we would maybe transfer it to one of our rescue friends. And actually, we've actually had that happen where other rescues have said, hey, it's too much work. It didn't work out for some reason. And a lot of that really depends on, again, what are your goals? Do you want this to be kind of a family operation? Totally wonderful, super valuable. Or do you want this to be continuing on? And so it really depends about that. So make sure you have that 501c3 dissolution language in your Articles of Incorporation. And it doesn't tell you to put that in there, but when you apply on your 1023 EZ, that's got to be in there. So I think I put the link to the 1023 EZ on there. There's instructions that are on there. take the time, print it off, put the form there. I think you just fill it out online, but the instructions, it literally walks you through everything. So it's going to say, you know, this one here, it's not overwhelming. And in 2017, it was $275. My guess is it's not too much more. It used to be about $500, so maybe it's in that range. So what are you willing to invest? Are you willing to, is $500 too much? I would say, honestly, if $500 is too much, this isn't the right time to start your nonprofit, because everything is going to be about what you're willing to put in. But these are the initial things that you have to do. But don't let, there's a bug, don't let money stop you. But I would say, if really $500 puts you at a constraint, you know, I would say pause for a little bit and come back, because you're gonna need to pour everything into this. Let's see. I think that was all that we're gonna cover for today, because I'm just going into this, because then we get, so basically that's all the paperwork that gets you incorporated. And why do you want to do this? Once again, because everything that you invest into this, you want to be able to deduct off of your taxes, and you want it to be a legitimate corporation so that people can invest in you, because ultimately that's what they're doing. They're investing in you, into the care of whatever your nonprofit mission is, because it's always the people behind the mission, and not necessarily, the mission doesn't run by itself. Know your people, know your nonprofit, know the leadership team, and don't be afraid to take that leap of faith, because everything starts with hope and a dream. And yeah, Sally, bugs do stop me, so I will say they just always scare me, so it's a little bit chilly. And so I think tomorrow we'll talk about funding, we'll talk about how to find your land, and we'll talk about some really fun topics like zoning, which all really fun things that, you know, most people don't think about until they're in this place. But dreams without action will be just that. It'll be a dream. So if you want your dream to get started, do something. I was a big believer in putting out there. So, you know, the day that I thought of it, I put it on Facebook and said, I'm going to start, I think I just said I'm going to start an animal rescue. And you wouldn't believe the amount of support that came from that. And then the day, let's see, when I was asking for names, you know, pull people in. People want to be a part of this. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. This doesn't happen. And again, this is solely my experience. We are not a one-person show. If this was just me, all I did was buy a farm and renovate a barn. The magic of this rescue is the people behind it. And I couldn't be more grateful for all the loving, incredible support of people, not only here in Spring Hill, but in all the surrounding counties and across the world too. So I think that's it for now. If you have any questions, I'll try to check the comments of this, but we'll pick it up again tomorrow. I try to keep these brief, but I tend to go off on tangents and I talk about random things. Remember, this is solely my experience. There's probably a million different ways that you can do it, and everything that I already just said, you could hire a lawyer and pay $500. Don't pay $5,000 though. I have seen lawyers ask for $5,000. It's not worth it. You can do this. Sit and read, and if you have questions, Google or call the state. But once again, let's do the recap. Pick your mission. Have your dream. It can evolve. That's okay. Have the courage to put it out there. Start generating energy. Everything is energy. Think about when you walk in a room, people who are positive, you're just drawn to them there. You know, what do you want to do? Get people excited. It's exciting to want to change the world. Could you imagine waking up every day? And I've been there, where there's just no hope, and everything starts with hope. Where there's hope, there's life. Where there's life, there's love, and it's just a beautiful cycle of good attracting good. And so get that dream out there. People want to be a part of it. Believe in yourself. File your articles of, pick your name, do your name search, file your articles of incorporation, get those bylaws going, get your EIN, and then go on the form 1023 easy, form 1023 easy, and get your 501c3 status. So important. You don't want to incorporate and get running and not have that 501c3 because you're not going to get the donors to come in. Finding donors is hard. So we'll talk about that. I don't know any magic grants that are out there. And it's insane how the grants are geared towards the larger shelters with the larger numbers where they already have the bigger funders or big funds. So you never want to rely on just one angel donor. So we'll get there, but don't worry if you don't have the funds to start with. I sure didn't, but I was willing to do whatever it took, and we'll talk about that another time. I don't even remember what I said we would talk about tomorrow, but probably more non-super fun stuff like land and zoning and starting where you are with what you have. So it is now an incredibly beautiful Sunday evening. I hope everyone enjoys the night and football. And we had yoga on the homestead this morning. It's just amazing how far we have come from it was actually just a dilapidated horse barn where there were no walls on the front, no electricity, no water. And if anybody who has seen the photos before, we literally built just about everything in there. My good friend Cindy and her husband and I actually put up a wall. It's shocking that the wall is still up. I have zero carpenter skills. My grandpa was a carpenter, but I am not. And my good friend Sheila and Sai and our football team, we actually painted the barn, and everyone kind of came here, and what we have built has truly been a labor of love, and it became a community of faith with the same mission that I shared this last time. Our dream is to wake up into a world where every single animal is treated with kindness, dignity, respect, and most importantly, their life has been touched by love, even if only for a moment. And so there's no age on that. We've never discriminated against age, breed, or medical. All souls matter, and every life deserves to know love. And so that's kind of the evolution. And while we started as a senior dog sanctuary, now it's just about saving animals and sharing and spreading kindness and love. And so please like and follow our page if you don't. We will do this again tomorrow. Keep walking you through this. Don't be afraid to dream. Never ever give up. And always know that it's never too late for happily ever after. Have a wonderful Sunday, guys.